let's continue on with information and ideas. So again, this type of questions, about 12 to 14 of those are about what is the main idea of the whole paragraphs. We will see some examples of that later. Um, Contextual or quantitative evidences. So you will be given a table, and then on that table, or probably in the text, um, you will be asked like detailed information on what you have read, as well as inferencing, meaning you're kind of um, um, your, how do you say with inferences, like making a guess, but intelligent guesses, right? And that's about 26% of the paper. So if everything is about 33%, what is 26%, Kyoka? My math is not very good. So if it's 33, 6 is 20. So about 22 questions? Is that right? No, no, no. I don't think I'm right. Like 8 questions, 11 to 15? Yeah, 11 to 15 questions, or 12 to 14 questions. And standard English conversions, that's the gra- grammar part, and punctuations, and how to construct the sentences better, correct?
Mm.
And then the last one, expression of ideas. And this is about 20%, or the least number of questions are transition. So how could you make this sentence transition to a something something kind of idea? And
Mm.
rhetorical synthesis. So like predicting future outcomes based on the text. Okay. So among those four, Kyoka, what do you think you would, based on your reviews, and I think you have completed more than one or two,
Mm.
um, what would be your your top priority in your review?
What I would want to
Improve
review,
on.
like spend time
Hmm.
preparing for it.
Yeah.
I would want to focus on expression of ideas and um, information and ideas as well.
Okay. All right. Cool. So I think you're very good at those. You're. This is information and ideas based on your results. These are like one of your best,
Oh, really?
right? Yeah. When you get information from tables and things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have most of those answers correctly, but like for example, interpreting poems and things like that.
Mhm.
That's expression of ideas. And you and I both, kind of, this is not our favorite kind of questions, but we're gonna try to solve it and figure out how to do this better. And English conversions, I believe, is something that we need to review on as well, because we often neglect that
Mm.
studying. And yeah, but if you are, you're a writer, I think this is something that should be automatic for you, you know okay. So let's go over your questions right now, your test questions. So Kyoka and I are reviewing um packet, or yeah, what do you call those? Is that packet?
Yeah, it says
What
bundle
was
number
that?
9.
Yeah, 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 bundle number 9 that we found in College Board, which is for free, so might as well take it. We've gone through the couple of questions here. So um, the ones that we don't have, yeah, this question, number 13. Let's go over number 13 together. You got it right. But now, Kyoka, our let's have a strategy.
Mm.
What do you think is this kind of question?
What do you think?
Yeah, is this information, structure, expression,
Oh,
or English conversion?
the second one we looked at, information. What was it called? Wait, I'm going
Um,
back to the document.
no problem. Information and ideas.
Information and ideas.
Yes, that is correct. And likewise, questions about information and ideas mostly have kind of a graph,
Mm.
right, or a table, and this is one of those. So if we look at the graph, it has a title. It's for metal content of plants with and without cana kanamycin exposure, and parts per million or ppm of metal content, right? Vertical and horizontal. And what is our main question?
Uh, the one that best describes.
Mm-hmm. So, which choice best describes data in the graph that support Ayalu and her colleagues' hypothesis? We don't know the hypothesis, so we're going to find that in the text. But based on, let's interpret it without reading the text, yeah? So, what do you think is how would you interpret the graph?
So the key idea is that these two groups are
Mm-hmm.
placed under different conditions.
Mm-hmm.
One without, how do I read this? Kanamycin,
Kanamycin,
and one with kanamycin. And
right?
we also see two different groups or two different variables inside
Mm-hmm.
a group. And that's what
Yeah.
we would want to focus on looking at.
So, yeah, so it's zinc and iron, right? So, without kanamycin, iron is high,
Mm,
very high, correct? But
yes.
without kanamycin, it's um, lower than the zinc.
Mm,
But in general, both kanamycin, both zinc and iron are lowered if there's kanamycin, right? But
mm.
iron is way less compared to kanamycin. So even without reading the paragraph, you kind of have an idea already what this is about. So let me ask you, because you got this question correctly,
Mm.
how did you attack this question?
Um, so, mhm, wait.
You got it correctly.
Mhm. Ah, so I chose the one that explains both about iron and zinc.
Mm-hmm.
So it summarizes it together, unlike
Mm-hmm.
the answer A says it compares the iron and zinc itself, but not as a group.
Right.
So I eliminated A, and the answer D explains the most overall idea,
Very good.
which she or he,
Yeah, yeah.
which supports he or oh her hypothesis.
That's right. So, did you even read the paragraph? I'm just curious. Did you have to read the paragraph?
Uh, I think I did for this one, but not like
Not in depth,
yes.
right? Because again, information questions are based on data.
Mm,
So, majority of your time should be on the data, not on the explanation. And that you're looking for a option that best describes what is on the data. So without kanamycin, that's the control,
mm,
right? Because there's nothing. And then with it, so that variable significantly, in general, zinc and iron are lower, And that's what it says, exactly that, right? Showed lower levels of iron and zinc than the control plant. So it's basically the best option. And you're right, letter A can be an option. The control plants contain higher levels of zinc and iron, yes, but plants exposed to kinamycin contain higher levels of iron than zinc. That's not true. That's not true, even, right? Because zinc is higher. Did you see?
Yes.
It says higher levels of iron than zinc, which is not, because zinc is higher than iron. So there's actually uh, an error
Mm.
or wrong information for letter A. So B, both groups of plants contain more than 200 parts per million. Correct, but it doesn't really differentiate one from the other.
Mm.
Letter C, on the other hand, zinc levels were around 300 parts per million uh, in the control plants. Uh, Around, wait, well, it's almost hitting 400. Do you see that?
Yes.
And then the control plants, but nearly 400 parts per million in the plants exposed to kanamycin. Again, both of the statements are wrong for letter
Mm.
C, right? So the best here is D, and you got it right. Wonderful. Okay, so all right, let's go over the following question. So letter number 14 is another. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think is the number 14 is a kind of question like?
Information and ideas as well.
Again, yes. And you got it right. Again.
Mm.
I told you you're good at this. Okay. And the main question here is um, which choice best describes data from the table that support the researcher's hypotheses? Okay. What is the hypothesis? Okay. Here's the hypothesis. This is in the last question. I'm going to highlight it. Let's change the color to green. uh, Researcher hypothesized that because Arctic ground squirrels hibernate alone, they would likely exhibit longer bouts of torpor and shorter arousal episodes than Alaska marmots. Okay,
Mm.
so torpor bouts is right here. This is a table of torpor bouts and arousal episodes of Alaska marmots. So again, the researchers hypothesized that Arctic ground squirrels hibernate because they hibernate alone. They will have longer bouts of torpor and shorter arousal. So torpor bout. So which one here has higher torpor bouts than which one is the squirrel has a higher torpor bout?
Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska marmots is higher, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean the marmots are higher. And then it says shorter arousal episode. So arousal episodes right here. So it's shorter than 11, but kind of wrong in the torpor bout, right? So the first
Mm.
hypothesis is wrong, but the second one is right. Am I saying it right? Yeah, shorter arousal episodes than Alaska marmot. Yes, it's shorter, but the bouts of torpor is lower, not higher.
Mm. Yes.
Okay? All right, so which one describes the data that supports that? Alaska torpor had shorter torpor bouts and longer arousal episodes than Arctic ground squirrels did. All right,
Mhm.
that's about it. Okay, you got it right. So, again, you just have to know the hypothesis and um, um, look into the data, and that's it. find the best option that describes the hypothesis. And that's that. You got it right. See? Okay. Anything else? Oh, you got it right again. What kind of question is this?
Uh, Information and
Number
idea.
again, information. And you got it right again. Like at least for all first three questions on information, you kind of acing it, Kyoka.
Yay! Slay.
All right. So again, um, always read the main question, which is usually before the options, right? Uh, which choice most effectively uses the data from the graph to complete the student's conclusion? So yeah, could you explain to me, or could you interpret the graph for me, Kyoka?
Um. Oh. Mm? Oh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm? What is this?
So it's about bees.
Bees? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So there are
Number
three
15.
different
Uh-huh.
bees. Each has different different cells with different size.
Yeah.
Size.
Yeah. So if you draw, let me see. Let me see if I could find a shape. Ito. Hold up.
Cell shape.
What's that?
Are you trying to show the shape of the cells?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh my God. My my drawing is so bad. Wait a minute. How can I add these um shapes?
I
Wait
think it's
up. I'm trying to look for the shapes. It should be here, no? It's weird. But why is
no,
it
it
a
should be
pen?
there.
Boop, 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 boop,
No, no, no,
boop.
no.
Hey, does it look like a
Wait,
hexagon?
how
Can
do
you draw me a hexagon on
Oh yeah.
the file? Yeah, you can do that with your Apple your pencil. I think it's easier. Wonderful. So that's a hexagon. So that's a 6. That's the
Mm,
usual one that we see in bees, right? However, in this data, it says that there are 5-sided cells, 7,
mm,
and 8, right? So there are
yes.
some non-hexagonal um, shapes for their hives. Okay, so
Mm.
what would be the highest 5-sided cells? Where can you find it?
From dwarf honeybee.
Correct. And then the 7-sided ones,
Would be from black dwarf honeybee.
the correct. What is the most notable with the 8-sided? It's very rare.
It's very rare and it's not observed in black dwarf honeybee.
Honeybees. Okay, so these are the information that we can find from the data, and you got it right. Could you share with us how long you got this? How long did it take you to answer this question, number 15?
Um, since well, I think I took a bit for this, but unlike the one we did before about Alaska,
Mm-hmm.
Mar like I don't have to look for hypothesis. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
get the result. So I think I was able to save time for that.
Mm-hmm. Good.
But since the answers are longer than usual or the past questions,
Mm-hmm.
I had it a time to read the answers
Okay,
options.
right. And it says for drone eggs in the hives of the western honeybee than the hives of the dwarf Honeybee and black dwarf. Yeah, cells are probably closer in size to cells for drone eggs in the hives. Cool. Yeah. So sometimes when we a lot of students get overwhelmed in English reading and writing questions because it looks like it's too long.
Mm.
But sometimes if we look at the main question, it's kind of and identifying what kind of questions these are, it's making us save time a little bit, right? We know what to prioritize
Mm.
when we answer these questions. All right, let's move on. Okay, how about, oh, you got it right again, both of it. But this is not necessarily an information question, is it?
It is it?
What do
Probably
you
is.
think? Wait, let's go over the kinds of questions, yeah?
Mm.
Okay. Citing claims. So the main question, let's go over the question. It says, um, which finding, if true, would most directly support Barbosa and Trejo's claim? So I think you're right. I think you're right. This is still information because it's direct evidence on text,
Mm.
right? Okay, and you got it right. Okay, supporting their claim. So what is the claim? What is their claim? So they claim, let's change color. Barbosa and Trejos claim that this behavior reflects strategic decisions that enable rural women to increase their profits per unit sold. Okay, um, which of the findings will make it true? Could you help me do that?
Yes.
All
The
right.
findings written in the text.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you highlight it for me?
yes.
Oh.
Mm? Mm. Ah, found that.
Mm-hmm.
Each cost have rural entrepreneurs to their to bring their goods to them. Is this a best one to highlight?
Um,
They're
yeah,
the
found that.
best one.
Yes, yes, yes. And they miss their payments more often than urban borrowers, partly because they
Mm.
sell their goods less frequently than they could. Right? So it's dependent on the number of goods they sell.
Mm.
Right? So letter D, it says the cost of rural entrepreneurs to bring their goods to towns with marketplaces is high, but largely independent to the number of goods they bring. So that supports that. Okay, good. Good job, girl. And number 17. Oh, completing text. What do you think? So the main question here says, um, which choice logically completes the text? Sentence
Mm.
completion. Where can we put that?
Mm. Sentence completion.
Mm-hmm. Because it says which choice most logically completes the text. So
Mm.
putting everything as a whole, or how do we finish this sentence or this paragraph? So that
That
is it
first.
craft and structure or is it expression of ideas? What do you think? because
Maybe.
it says here,
Oh,
right?
but if I have to
Huh?
summarize,
Yeah.
to complete
Which choice most logically completes the text? So it has a purpose,
structure.
text structure. So it's graph and structure,
Mm,
right? Because it's giving us purpose. So which option has the purpose to complete the text?
mm,
And you got it right again. All right. So let's read that. Let's read from the sentence. Legal scholar and philosopher Anita Allen argues that while judges are naturally inclined to mention philosophers whose views align with their own positions, the strongest judicial options consider a rebuttal potential and rebut potential objections. Discussing philosophers whose views conflict with judges' views could therefore, yeah, letter
mm,
B, allow the judges to craft judicial opinions without needing to consult philosophical works. Does it make sense? Help judges improve the arguments they put forward into judicial opinions. That makes sense. How about letter C? Make judicial opinions more comprehensible to readers without legal and philosophical training. That's crazy. Yeah. D, bring judicial options in line with views that are broadly held among philosophers. That are, uh, that could be possible, but B would be the best choice. Yeah.
mm. Yes.
Cool. Cool beans. All right, so this one we need help with 18, but let's identify what kind of question first. You got the first one correct. It asks for the same thing,
Mm,
right? What logically completes the text? Yeah? So it's the
yeah.
same. This is still a structure question. Um,
For this, I
mhm.
did not like understand the context itself.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like I was like um choosing from the options. I just randomly checked.
Okay. Let's see. Let's read it in its entirety, okay?
Mm,
So,
yes, please.
this is about military veterans make up a small proportion of the total population of the US. Okay? So army veterans or military vets,
Mm,
small population, they occupy a significantly higher proportion of the jobs in the civilian government. So despite the fact that they are the smallest in the population, the veterans are the most, right?
mm,
So it says here, let me highlight it. Let's highlight it in blue. All right. Military veterans occupy significantly higher proportion of the jobs in the civilian government. Civilian meaning not um, um, it's public, but you don't need to be military for it. That's why it's
mm,
civilian. It's not a military position, basically.
mm,
Okay. One possible explanation for this disappropriate representation is that military service familiarizes people with certain organizational structures that are also reflected in the civilian government bureaucracy. Okay. So we are given a reason. We are given a reason why it is such. Okay. So uh, let's highlight it that military service familiarizes people with certain organizational structures that are reflected in the civilian government bureaucracy. And this familiarity thus, so again, it contextualizes this, right?
mm,
Even though the military is very small according to the total population of the United States, in government agencies, civilian government, an example of that is DMV. Okay, so the driving,
mm,
right? So um, what I'm saying is, it's not only like I applied for that job. Usually, military veterans gets those jobs.
Mm,
Okay,
yes.
park ranger. So these are like civilian work. You don't need to be a military for those work. It's
Mm,
still a government job because it says civilian government. But yeah, mostly war veterans or military veterans get those jobs. And the reason why is because of they are familiar with bureaucracy. So the ranking, the
mm,
uh, kind of the rules, they are more familiar than the ones that didn't go to military.
mm.
Okay,
Okay.
so um, yes, so because of that, because of their familiarity, it makes civilian government jobs appealing to military veterans because they're familiar on that. All
Mm,
right.
mm, mm,
So that tracks. That makes total sense because once they get out of the military, they don't want to do a job, for example, in a private company,
mm,
or probably they don't want to go. I mean, in general, right? They'd rather go to a government sponsored job
mm,
rather than, for example, apply to a mall,
mm.
a retail job, because they're
Yeah.
not familiar to that kind of job, right?
Yeah.
Or they don't want to go to private companies because they know the qualification of going to these companies. You have to be a college graduate,
Mm,
you have to be from a prestigious university and things like that. They won't qualify for those. So because they are familiar to the kind of hierarchy of government work, it is more appealing to them.
mm.
So that's why the option is A. Now let's go over the other ones. Letter
Yes.
B alters the typical relationship between military service and subsequent career preference. That option, it doesn't go anywhere.
Mm,
You know what I mean? It doesn't stick to the point.
mm,
So I mean, it makes sense, but it's just not aligning to what was established in the text. Letter C, it encourages non-veterans for civilian government jobs to consider military service instead. Um, it's making this option is making it a bit. It makes sense. Don't get me wrong.
mm,
Um, it says that non-veteran applicants would like to join the military and then go to government jobs. It's kind
mm,
of convoluted, right? I mean, it can make sense, but it's not direct to the point.
mm,
Yeah. So, for example, I'm looking for a job. I want to work for the government of Roppongi.
mm,
Where is Roppongi? Minatoku, right?
mm,
So, I want to I want a job in the city government of Minato.
mm,
I didn't go to the government. So, is because many people from the military um, are working there,
mm,
do they want to join the military and then get that job?
mm. No.
Right? Like, I'd rather just find another job, you know? So, yeah, it's kind of convoluted. So, I wouldn't pick that. Letter D, not myself, but like, it's not the best option because it's too um, mendoksai.
Mm,
Sorry. And then D increases the number of civilian government jobs that require some amount of military experience to perform. Again, uh, it's not about them applying, but this option, again, is making a point that is a little bit different or a little bit off topic,
mm,
right? It doesn't end
Mm.
It doesn't logically complete the text. Yeah,
Yes.
it's not the it's it may make sense, but it's not completing the text. It's not what it's the purpose.
Mm.
Okay, and you got other things correct. Do you want to skip that, or is there anything here that you um
Mm.
from 19, 20 to 21, which of the options here that you would like
No,
to
I
talk about?
would. Mm, like these are these are what do you call this? Standard English conventions,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But instead, I would want to focus on the what do you call the punctuations
Okay. Cool.
from number
Wonderful.
22.
Yes, that's fine. All right. So that this is more like grammar, and because it's nothing, and you've got it all right anyway. You're well practiced on those. Okay. How about this completion again? Would you like to? Okay. So
Yeah.
as we go through it, you're trying to take note that the completion part you kind of get it wrong um, a little more than other
Mm,
kinds.
yeah.
So this is something that you need to prepare for on your next practice. Or if not, at least take note of this
Mm,
on your actual exams, right? Okay,
yes.
so let's go over it again. All right. Completing the text conventions of standard English. So these are on punctuations. Some of the punctuations, the 24, you got it right. Why don't we? Would you like to? Um, would you like to review punctuations with me?
Yes, please.
Perfect. Okay, so these are the common punctuation marks. Okay, period. All right. So the first three is kind of self-explanatory, right? So these are more expressions. Like period is like it ends the sentence. Question mark is like, is this a question? Exclamation point is it conveys strong emotions of urgency or being shocked.
Mm,
Yes, comma. A comma is used to separate parts of a sentence, indicating a short pause. Okay, so it's kind of giving it a little bit of pause to give it a little bit of drama, or that
mm,
to kind of separate. Like, for example, if I say, Miss Pauline loves music,
mm,
comma, fashion, comma, and beauty. Stop. So
mm,
it's kind of separating these parts of the
mm,
sentence. All right. So, which is like very common. A lot of students, especially those who don't really write a lot, are the distinction between semicolons and colons.
mm,
Semicolon is a like a punctuation and a comma together in a line like this. So what is it for? So it connects two independent clauses together that are somewhat related.
mm,
Okay? So an example of that is he loves me not. Right? So it's either he likes me or he doesn't,
mm.
right? Or like what can you think of a connected sentence?
Mm,
Can you come up with one? Like if you are hungry, what do you do?
I eat.
Yeah, right? I'm hungry, therefore I eat.
Mm,
Because it's connected. What
yes.
is not connected is I eat, then I sleep. Or I eat, I'm hungry, and then I ran 5 miles. It doesn't make sense, right?
Mm.
So it's not something that it's not connected. So it's not it can be an independent clause, but it doesn't make sense together.
Mm.
But nevertheless, a semicolon puts two independent clauses together. A colon is to introduce a list or an explanation. All right. So the example here is there are two choices, yes or no.
Mm.
Yeah. Or for example, my boyfriend has two options. And then colon, either marry me or break up with me.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
But nevertheless, it's a list, right? And or a quote like
Mm.
Kyoka told me, "I miss you a lot, Miss Pauline."
Mm.
Right? So you use a colon for that. Okay, or an explanation like I live in Japan, blank. Then explain what Japan is.
Mm.
Right? Japan is it's a part of Asia. So that is a a colon.
Mm.
Cool.
Yes.
All right. Um, how dashes and hyphen? Yes, sometimes it comes up in the SATs, right? Dashes is um, a line used to um, break in thought. Okay, like she was quite frankly amazed. So it's for dramatic purposes in a way,
Mm.
right? But it's more on the writing literature. Um, Hyphen connects compound words or separated syllables of a word at the end of a line. So, a well fitted dress to a party, or uh, not so pretty. You know, these kinds of
Mm.
words in English that,
Mm.
or merry go around.
Mm.
You know that?
Yes.
Right? So, they put these breaks,
Mm.
right? to uh to connect these words and make up a meaning out of it.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, like well-rounded. She's well dressed. Okay, so you put a hyphen. Cool. All
Yes.
right. Let's go there because there's a lot, but let's go over the examples because I see it. See here. So there are some options that has a semicolon, and there's also a lot of commas, right? So
Yes.
remember, a comma is to what's the comma again? Let's go back. A comma, separate parts of of a sentence indicating a short pause, compared to a semicolon that is um, a independent clause, or the sentence has to relate to each other.
Mm.
Let's see. All right. So journalists have dubbed Jill Scott Heron the godfather of rap, a title that has appeared in hundreds of articles about him since the 1990s. Scott Heron himself resisted the Godfather nickname. However, feeling that it didn't encapsulate his devotion to the broader African American blues music tradition, as well as bluesologist, the moniker he preferred. So you chose here a semicolon, right?
Mm.
And I think it can fly. But what's this? Are they related? Because remember, in
Oh.
semicolon, it says that closely related to each other.
Mm.
But actually, it opposes,
Mm.
right? So it's a um,
Mm.
the sentence the sentence after however, the sentence feeling that it didn't encapsulate his devotion, it doesn't it's not continuing to the first one,
Mm.
right? It opposes.
Yes.
That's why it's not advisable to use a semicolon. So
Mm.
better that it is a comma, just because a comma, right? It's it's a separate part of a sentence. It's just a pause.
Mm.
Okay? There.
Yes.
When you say however, usually it's either uh, a comma or a semicolon. So putting a semicolon before however, it doesn't also fly, because again,
Mm.
semicolon, it has to be. However, again, is opposing, right?
Mm.
It's an indicator word that however, so but like whatever you said from the previous, you will start a sentence that will oppose that. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So
Yes.
semicolons are out of the question in this kind of context. So B would be the most appropriate option. Any questions about that?
No. But to 23, when we move on to
Mm-hmm.
23, I
23.
would want to talk about as well.
Oh, yes, because these are commas again, right?
Mm.
Okay. So, what would be the question here? Is it, are you, you got it right, but is this like, you got it correct by chance? Is that why you want to?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Um,
So in this case, is there a no need for a short pause, or is because it's not one of the it's not used to separate part of the sentence?
I got you. I got you. So, um, you got it right, because let's look at the sentence. Okay. Uh, let's go back again. What is the purpose of a comma? Used to separate parts of a sentence, okay, or indicating a short pause. But it's more on with this context that we are looking at. This is more to separate parts of a sentence.
Mm.
Yes? All right. Let's just read
Yeah.
it in its entirety. Stomata, a tiny pore structures in the leaf that absorb gases needed for plant growth, open when guard cells surrounding each pore swell with water. Okay, so you see how stomata, because stomata is a um, this is a uh, proper name. This is a proper
Mm.
name, and this is a description. It's a tiny pore structures in the leaf that absorbs
Mm.
gases needed for plant growth. Comma, separate, open when guard cells. So this is, let's see, proper name, description, purpose. You see? So the purpose of the stomata is they open when guard cells surrounding each pore swell with water. You get it? So
Mm.
there's
Okay.
separate, there are these sentences are separated to introduce what stomata is. Stomata,
Mm.
description, purpose, or function. Okay? Now, let's apply that to the second sentence. In a pivotal 27 article, okay, do you have to do plant cell biologist, right? So
Mm.
it's better to say you really is the plant biologist, right? So
Mm.
plant cell biologist Urili, comma, right?
Mm.
Because if you separate plant cell biologist, it it's there's no sense, or there's no it doesn't really say anything to separate it. So it's
Mm.
better to describe what what is that sentence for. So it describes or introduces the biologist. So plant cell biologist Yuri Lee, comma.
Mm.
So who is she? What is she? Right. So she's a
Mm.
plant cell biologist, comma, showed that lipid molecules called uh, phospho whatever phosphates are responsible for signaling guard cells to open stomata. Okay, so in a pivotal article, blank, a biologist named Yuri Lee, blank. So again,
Mm.
it's what is the context, separated by a comma, who, right? So a plant cell
Mm.
biologist, comma, and what did she do, comma. So you have to read the sentence in a way that would make sense to separate these statements. So
Mm.
if you are to say plant cell biologist blank, for what? What for? You know what I mean? Why do you have to separate that for? So I
Mm.
wouldn't, that would represent A. Represent D, if you said plant biologist blank, you really, it's too much. Why do you have to
Mm.
separate it, right? So a much better or a more effective way is letter C.
Mm.
Cool? All right.
Yes.
All right. So how about number 24 and 25? Are you okay with that? These are all sentence completions as well.
Yes.
So, yeah. So let's just
So
highlight.
this is the
sen-
only one, like number C is the only one that um like separates
Yeah.
the sentence.
Well, it's there is no need, right? There is no
Mm.
need to separate it because it doesn't um there is no, how do I say? um there's basically there's no need to separate it because it's not confusing anyone,
Mm-hmm.
so we use the comma so that the reader will not be confused on the order. Okay, so there.
Yes.
So how about, can we skip 24 and 25, or would you like to? So again, it's
Yes.
sentence completions. Okay, and you got it. Oh my god. Okay, you only have one question wrong. So this is okay. So it has to, if it's in the present tense, it has to be is. So I think this is something easy for you,
Mm.
right? And additionally, what is the continuing words? Okay, you're good. Meanwhile, yeah. Number 29. All right, what the kind of question is, which choice completes the text with the most logical transition? All right. Where do we use subsequently? What does subsequently mean?
Um,
Subsequently, where do we use that?
can you give me a line that uses
Okay, so
like two
all
sentences?
right, so I'll put this. How about let's find one. Let's find one online. Something that sentence that uses subse. Do you see my screen?
No.
No. Hold on. As transition word. Okay, let me read it to you. Okay.
Mm.
The team first developed a prototype and subsequently they conducted user testing to refine design.
So it's happening in order.
Yes, so it's a continuous, like subsequently. So with this and after this, they did this. Yes,
So is it then or after, later?
like yeah, it's a kind of, yeah, it's a kind of like then. You know what I mean? It's the
Mm,
same.
okay.
And then besides, what is besides? When do we use besides? Besides,
Mm,
like, okay.
is I have a question for besides. Is
Uh-huh.
it like a completely different? It's not like completely different, but I'm not sure. Is it is it giving another idea or is it adding up to another previous idea?
Well, you're adding a reason. You're
Mm,
adding a reason why you think that. For example, right? I'm gonna give you an example. This is a negative sentence saying, I don't
mm,
want to eat there. Besides, I'm not hungry.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? So I'm giving you a reason why I don't want to do that. Besides,
mm,
okay? In a positive way, you can use besides, right? Um, uh, I'm gonna take that sample. Besides, it's free.
mm.
You know what I mean? So you're
Yeah.
adding a reason for the first sentence.
Mm.
Okay?
Okay.
Nevertheless. How about nevertheless?
Nevertheless, um, mm,
Why when do we use nevertheless?
I've never used it before. How would you use this?
Okay. So nevertheless means that even with so many reasons, um, I will choose it. Okay.
So
So
we
for
just
example, okay, for example,
mm,
um, I am so tired and hungry and so dirty. Nevertheless, uh, I will go ahead to sleep. Meaning, you're tired. You're dirty.
mm,
Why didn't you go take a shower?
mm,
You're hungry. Then why didn't you eat?
mm.
Right?
So like
So
regardless of what I did.
yes, exactly. Regardless or never, So yeah, so or nevertheless, meaning I'm giving you these reasons,
Mm,
and despite all the reasons, this is what I'm gonna do.
mm,
Right? Nevertheless. Let's go look at the what it means. Nevertheless. Okay. Nevertheless, in a sentence is in spite of that. Okay? Not in
mm.
spite of all that, this is what I'm gonna do. Okay?
Yes.
So there. Thus, okay, thus meaning with that filler or that transition is that yeah, because,
Mm,
all
mm.
right, thus. Okay, so which
Yes.
one? Subsequently is to besides is like it's giving more reason.
Mm,
Thus is more. Let me see. What would they give me? Thus, in a sentence means yeah. As a result,
mm,
therefore. Okay, so it's a continuous. But thus is more like a result. Subsequently is like a step.
mm, mm, mm.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So, the more diverse and wide ranging an animal behaviors, the larger and more energy demanding the animal's brain tends to be. Blank, from an evolutionary perspective, animals that perform only basic actions should allocate fewer resources to growing and maintaining brain tissue. The specialized subtypes of ants within colonies provide the opportunity to explore this hypothesis. Right? Besides, it's not a good one because it's actually supporting the first statement. So
Mm,
I would choose either. All right, I will right, right.
mm,
Um, I would choose either subsequently or letter D. thus.
Mm,
But subsequently is like again, subsequently is another step. This
mm,
is not another step. It's more like thus. It's a result.
mm,
So thus, or let's thus is also the same as therefore, right?
mm,
Therefore, from an evolutionary perspective, animals that perform only basic acts. So it's supporting it.
mm.
It support the idea much better. So thus, I'm gonna write it. Okay. How do I do this? Type
You
thus.
could, yeah.
There you go. The same as therefore, or as a result. Okay. Cool.
Yes.
There you
Yes.
go. Wonderful, Kyoka. Oh my God, Kyoka, you're on the roll. Number 30 and 31, you're correct. See? And number 32 and 33, you got it correct. Oh my God, girl, what do you need me for?
Everything.
You're getting better because you practice, right? What do you
Yes.
think would be the result if instead of studying weekly, you are studying every other day, like every 3 days, you have a new set?
Mm.
What do you think is the result?
Of my
Yes.
coming test,
Yes.
I,
You would
I don't
get better.
know. I would appreciate if I could get over, like overall, including math. Miss B.
Let's just have a break from presenting. There you go. Yes, I'm here. Oh, what? Hold on. All right. Cool.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I just taken a pause so that you can speak.
I hope I can
Uh-huh.
get over 1200, like overall, including math.
Yeah. How are you preparing with your math then? Are you doing it the same, or you're actually preparing with math more?
No, the same.
Same on.
I'm
Okay.
trying to maximize
Uh-huh.
the techniques I can use on Desmos, and I'm pretty familiar with. Wait, am I allowed to use TI?
TI
No.
calculator.
Yeah.
I am, yeah, let's review that. But I think
Because
uh
if I'm allowed to, I'm pretty familiar with it because I've been using for the last 2 years.
exactly, right? Let's review that later, but I think you
Mm,
can. But from what I read a while ago, I think they would rather prefer you to use Desmos,
mm, mm.
to
Yeah,
my
because it's on the
understanding.
screen, right?
Right, right, right. Because I think in because you're in digital anyway, I think
Mhm.
that um they don't want you to bring your own calculator because you might use it
Mm.
to program
Yes, right.
your calculator. So that's the case. Okay. So all right, let's go back. Let's go back to our English stuff. Okay. So this is the second module for reading and writing, right? So um, you're on the roll for the first three questions. You got it right, right? So this is what is this kind of question? One second. Um, words in context. These are structures. It says here, um, as used in the text, what does the word completing most nearly mean? Right? So, words in context is craft and structure. Yes? And you got
Mm.
all of them correctly, which I am very proud of because in the beginning you're quite timid on like knowing the meaning and things like that, but you're
Mm.
actually good at it. Okay, which of the choice complete the text? first 5 questions correctly. All right, so let's go over this. So again, which choice best describes the function of, oops, okay, we're good. Function of the underlined sentence as a whole. So again, that is um, structure, rhetorical synthesis, and transition. Yes, structure and purpose. Yeah.
Mm.
So the question that, oh, you got it right as well. Sorry. Yeah, got it right. Getting better at it. Oh my goodness, girl. Number 7 and 8. It's still correct.
Yay.
You got most of this correct. This is crazy. All right, how about number 12? So you got the first
Mm.
11 question, which is good, right? First 11 questions correctly. Let's go over number 12. Right. Now it's asking us to choose the text or the option best describes the main idea. What is the main idea of the sentence? Unfortunately, with this kind of command, you will be asked to read the entire text so that you understand what is the main idea of the passage. Okay, let's see. A culinary anthropologist, and the name is Vertame Smart Grosvenor, known for her decades of work in national public television and radio. But her book, Vibration Cooking, or the travel notes of a Geechee girl, is likely her most influential project. The 1970 book, which title refers to Smart Grosvenor's roots in country of South Carolina, was unusual for its time. It combined memoir, recipe, travel writing, social commentary, and challenged notion about conventions of food and cooking. Long admired by many, the book and its author have shaped contemporary approaches of writing about cuisine. Okay, so um, what can you get from that sentence or that paragraph on the get go?
It's something about the food. Combined.
Okay, it's something about an author,
Mm.
right? She writes about food, but it's influential in a sense that it's a combination of her memoir, so about her life, recipes, and about travels and social comments. So it's like
Mm.
it's not a direct cookbook, but there's
Mm.
story
Mm.
behind each dish. Okay,
Mm.
and preparation of cooking. So it's like a storytelling with a recipe.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. So let's read the options. All right. Grosvenor's unconventional travel book, and then it says here the title, right?
Mm.
Which was also written here, is an important contribution to food writing. Okay. So it tracks. This one tracks. Let's go to letter B. Grosvenor held many different positions over her life, including reporter and food writer. It's not necessarily um, it's not the highlight, or it doesn't really
Mm.
describes the main idea. The main idea here is the author's unusual, right? Unusual style of writing
Mm. Mm.
um, cookbooks. Letter C, the one that you used or the one that you chose, is the groundbreaking book. Didn't receive praise it deserved when it was first published. It didn't say any of that, right?
I did
It just
not
said that
understand the text itself.
I got it. But it's like it says it's unusual at the time. That's what it says. It's unusual at the time, but it This, the yellow ones, is describe what it's about, and then it also says
Mm.
that it is long admired by many, right? And the book have shaped contemporary approaches. So, it doesn't say any of that it's not well deserved. I think it's well loved after
Right.
50 years of its, okay?
Mm.
And letter D, Grosvenor was a talented chef whose work inspired many people to start cooking for themselves. Yes, but it's not really the main idea of the text. The text is more like giving importance of
Mm.
the unusual book. Okay?
Yes.
All right.
This one we went
Uh-huh. Okay.
this.
Right. We went this, and then did we do both?
Not 14.
Okay, let's go over number 14. Spring fragrance. Now, let's go over the main question. All right. Which
Mm.
quotation from Mrs. Spring's fragrances letter most effective? Oh my gosh. Hold on. It says, okay. Letters most effectively illustrates the claim. Okay. Let's read the passage. What is the claim? What is the claim?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yes.
Is the concern.
Yes. So she is concerned while she is traveling from Seattle to California. She has concern for what's happening at her home in Seattle while she is away.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yes.
So, which one of this is that looking that she is worried or she has concerns? You chose my honorable cousin is preparing for the fifth moon festival and wishes me to compound for the occasion some American fudge, for which delectable sweet made by my clumsy hands, you have sometimes shown a slight prejudice. Does it sound to you anything concerning?
I don't know. Maybe she didn't like the sweet.
Right? So again, this is concern while she was away.
Mm.
Okay, so we have to look for options that would show that she's worried for whatever reason.
Mm.
Letter B. Next week, I accompany Aoi to the beauteous town of San Jose. There will there will we be met by the sons of illustrious teacher. It doesn't show any worries, right?
Mm.
So again, I will eliminate that. Doesn't sound to me kind of worrying. Nah. Letter C. Forget not to care for the cat, the birds, and the flowers. Do not eat too quickly nor fan too vigorously now that the weather is warming. No, this sentence is more like it's not really concerning. She's not worried, but more of giving orders,
Mm.
right? Letter D. I am enjoying a most agreeable visit. And American friends, as also our own, strive benevolently for the accomplishment of my pleasure. This is more tricky, isn't it?
This is hard.
Yes, it is hard because as also our own strive
Wait. Let me
benevolently.
check that. What is this number 14?
Yes,
Oh, it probably is C.
Forget not to care for the cat, the birds, and the flowers. Do not eat too quickly, nor fan too vigorously, now that the weather is warming. Yeah, what do you think?
I'm trying to go to
Yeah,
answer
for
to
the
each. Yeah, 14 it says
is preparing
C.
the fifth. So it's C. Forget not to care for the cat, the birds, and the flowers. Do not eat too quickly nor fan too vigorously now that the weather is warming. Huh,
This is hard.
what do you think? It is because for me as well,
Mm,
it is hard because I want to show concern, but um, perhaps because it's not a complete kind of
right.
um, I don't have background to the story, and to me, forget not to care for the cat, the birds, and the flowers. Ah, yeah, it's actually worrying,
Mm,
isn't it?
right. Yeah, I think so too.
Right? It's saying
Sorry.
saying don't forget to care for the cat, the birds, and the flowers.
Mm,
Do not eat too quickly. So I think it's more of like she is worried. So I think
mm.
it does sound like it. So I think that tracks in a way. So let's erase that.
Mm. Yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry.
So at first I interpret that's okay. What I'm saying is I interpret this as a like she's being um too naggy, but that's right.
Mm-mm.
It's somewhat concerning. That's why she's panicking,
Mm.
right?
Yeah. And this is the
So
only
that's
one that
that.
shows her like negative feelings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's correct. All right. Okay. Letter number 15. Another one. Okay. Undermine. So let's look at something. If true, would most directly undermine the hypothesis.
So
You
again,
got
I
this
didn't
because
understand.
it's quite yeah, it's quite loaded. What you are asked to do is a little bit
Mm,
loaded, right? Because you want to find a sentence that would debunk, undermine the hypothesis.
mm.
Okay? Let's see. What is the hypothesis? Let's look. Mm, I'm gonna take this away a little bit. Yeah. Near Vancouver, the outer population, yet they healthier conservationists, colleagues compared meadows to meadows where otters are absent. Here's the hypothesis.
Mm,
Foster hypothesized that damage to eelgrass roots increases the plant's rate of sexual reproduction and in turn boosts genetic diversity, which benefits the meadows over health overall. Okay, so that is the
mm,
hypothesis that if the damage to the eelgrass would increase the sexual reproduction, therefore having many how do I say like many variations
mm,
of the plant. So it boosts genetic diversity, which benefits the meadow's health overall. So that means that when there is the hypothesis is when there is damage to eelgrass, there will be genetic diversity.
mm.
So what would undermine that? Let's look at the way to undermine that. So we will go against the hypothesis.
Mm.
All right. So let's read. At several sites, at some sites in the study, eelgrass meadows are found near otter populations that are small and tend to and have only recently been introduced. Okay, does it sound against? So let's read it again in a way. When digging for clams, the primary food, sea otters damage the roots of eelgrass plants growing on the
Mm.
seafloor. That is the story, right? Because when they are searching for clams under the seafloor, the um, the otters are
Mm.
damaging the eelgrass. Okay,
Okay. So near
near Vancouver Island in Canada. Uh huh.
are found.
Yes.
So eelgrass meadows are found
Uh
near.
huh. The seafloor.
Oh, so this actually supports
Which one?
option A.
Yeah. Eelgrass meadows are found near otter populations that are small and have only recently been introduced. It doesn't really say much about the hypothesis.
Mm-mm-mm.
Okay?
Okay. Yes.
So let's read the so to support so that we understand the
Mm.
context. So near Vancouver Island in Canada, the otter population is large and well established. Yet, the eelgrass meadows are healthier than those found elsewhere off Canada's coast. What does that mean? The higher, so based on that sentence, high population of otter, there is also high population or healthier population of eelgrass. Okay?
Mm.
Based on this sentence. Okay, is large healthier than those found elsewhere. Okay,
Yes.
and then to explain this conservation, Erin Foster colleagues compared the Vancouver Island meadows to meadows where otters are absent or were reintroduced only recently. Okay, so they're trying to look into it and they hypothesize that the reason why there are healthier um, there the more otters are there, the eelgrass are getting damaged and they
Mm.
reproduce more.
Mm.
Okay. Letter A, the option A says sites of the eelgrass meadows are found near otter populations that are small and have only recently reintroduced. Doesn't really say it doesn't really it does not support or it's to me how it's written, um it's a description, not necessarily a
Mm.
conclusion for the for what we're looking for. Letter B. At several sites not included in the study, there are large, well-established sea otter populations, but no eelgrass meadows. It can track. Let's see. At several sites not included in the study, eelgrass meadows' health correlates negatively with the length of residence and the size of otter population. So this is, you know what I mean? Because remember, the hypothesis, it's a positive correlation, right?
Mm.
The higher the otter population, the higher the eelgrass diversity.
Mm-mm. Yes.
So, what is the opposite of that? Negative correlation. Okay, so then
Yes.
that will disprove, that will definitely undermine Foster's hypothesis. So I would yes, right? Because um, it's a direct description.
Mm.
Correlates negatively with the length of residence and size of otter at some of the sites. Yeah. You see how the health of plants unrelated to, yeah, it doesn't support. Let's read letter D just for
Mm. Yes.
comparison, right? It says it's at some size in the study, the health of plants unrelated to eelgrass correlates negatively with the closely with the length of residence and size of outer population, right? This is negating to the point.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? So it's already, it's not direct to the hypothesis. So
Yeah.
watch out on that questions, right? If it's not directly correlating to the hypothesis, it's even if it sounds correct, it's still wrong.
Mm.
Yeah?
Yes.
Cool. Number 16 you got right. This is also long. All right. So it is an information because again, if the question is directly looking for the text, you're very good at this, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go over number 17, shall we?
Yes, please.
Completing the text. This is completing the text. All right. Which choice most logically completes the text? All right. Let's read the sentence. Among social animals that care for their young, such as chickens, mac mac oh my god, macaque? Macaque? I forgot. Okay, monkeys and humans, newborns appear to show an innate attraction to face and face-like stimuli. Elisabetta Versace and her colleagues used tongues in a nose or mouth to test whether this trait also occurs in testudo tortoises, okay, which live alone and do not engage in parental care. They found that tortoise hatchlings showed a significant preference for the image, suggesting that, what do you think would be a suggestion? Remember, it says that the testudo, they made up, so they made up like dots to make it look like eyes and a nose
Mm.
or a mouth, and see if the tortoise who live alone and do not engage in parental care, they found the tortoise hatchling shows a significant, so the babies, so they
Mm.
tested the babies, significant preference for the image. Why so? Suggesting that, A, let's see, face like stimuli are likely perceived as harmless to the, no, you have to look for a sentence that supports something about the test is about innate attraction to faces and face like stimuli.
What does innate mean?
Innate is like, it comes from within. Innate,
Mm.
like it's naturally, yeah, so it naturally comes to you. For example, it's innate for humans to be scared of blood. Why do you think so?
Because it's not
Why?
a thing that
Mhm.
comes out usually.
Yeah, because yes, right? Because when we see blood, we see danger or we see injury, right?
Mm.
When we see blood, that means that there's something wrong to a person. That's why the person is bleeding,
Mm.
right? So that's innate.
Okay.
Okay. All
Yes.
right. So researchers should not assume that an innate attraction to face like stimuli is necessarily an adaptation related to social interaction or parental care.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Um, all right. Because remember that tortoises
Mm.
are, they are animals, but they do not. This is another clue. Let me put that in pink. Why is it reconnecting? Hello. You can hear me,
I
right?
can hear you.
I think it's my internet.
Yeah.
Okay. So they live alone and do not engage in parental care. Okay. So
Yes.
remember that in their species, they're not really, they they'll be okay not to be with parents.
Mm.
Okay, this tracks. This makes sense. Okay, researchers should not assume that an innate attraction to face like stimuli is necessarily an adaptation related to social interaction or parental care. Let's look at letter C. Researchers can assume that the attraction to face like stimuli that is seen in social species that practice parental care is learned rather than innate. Okay. Newly hatched tortoises show a stronger preference to face like stimuli than adult testudo tortoise. Okay. So it's on the text.
Mm.
Okay. Why do you think that? Because it's a baby, right? Is it that it doesn't support because as they grow older, based on the species, they don't want to be connected to anything. They are
Mm.
solitary animals, right? And also tortoise when they have when they hatch um, their eggs, the parents, they don't really care
Yeah.
about their babies. They
They don't.
abandon them just like turtles.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yes.
turtles don't know who their parents are because once they take the eggs, the mother leave, right?
Mm.
So I would say that researchers should not assume
Mm.
that the innate because there's no evidence, right? There's no
Mm.
the those dots doesn't represent anything. They might be interested with it, but it
Mm.
doesn't really say anything about their
Mm.
species. Okay. So
Yes.
this question to me is quite hard, but I think prior knowledge would be helpful for these kinds of questions.
Mm.
You know?
Yes.
All right. So this you got correctly. The other question you got correctly. We did that yesterday. You got all of 19 to 22 correct. What else? Ah, again, our favorite,
Yes.
number 23. Remember separators, comma, and things like that. Okay, Kyoka, I will try because it's trying to reconnect and connect. I have to. What do I do?
I can hear you though. you're back.
Hi. Yes,
Hi.
sorry about that. It's so
No,
annoying. Now
you're
I'm afraid. Wait a second. I want to view our recording if it did. Okay, it's here. At least it's here. Oh my god, you look so pretty. You look so pretty in my videos.
Slay.
It's not okay. Let's see. Oh wow,